Mom couldn't stop crying when she saw what the housekeeper is doing with her 6 babies. The most beautiful thing about raising and taking care of children is the unconditional love and bond you have with your children. In my opinion, raising children to me is wonderful. Seeing their smiling faces at the end of a tough day seems to make my day 10,000 times better. There are so many beautiful and challenging things about raising children, but I think it's seeing them grow into healthy, happy, and productive adults and watching them raise their own children with the blessings of grandchildren. That doesn't mean you won't have hard times and challenges as life goes on, but doing my best to be a godly role model, living out my faith, and daily praying for them is most important for me and helps us all through them. Blessings and challenges. Babysitting involves an awful lot of trust. Parents take an enormous leap of faith every time they leave their precious offspring alone with that tween from down the street. In an ideal situation, babysitters and nannies seamlessly blend into the child care dynamic, forming a dependable branch of the family's community. Working parents these days have a lot to worry about. And after this shocking incident, you don't just need to protect kids from strangers outside, but also from those you let indoors. This techie couple hired a motherly governess for their 6 twins as both work night shifts. Little did they know that this abusive housekeeper had anger management issues and violent tendencies. A married Filipino maid who physically abused her employer's 6 babies recorded the acts on her mobile phone and sent videos of the crying child in pain to her lover, was sentenced to 9 months jail on Friday. Leslie and Belmont Diaz, 36, arrived in Singapore to work as a domestic helper in 2016. She's married to a logistics coordinator who also works in Singapore. Bought the couple a strained relationship as Diaz was having an affair with another man known only as Raymond. Diaz confirmed the offenses on April 11 this year at the condominium unit her Australian employer lived in. She was looking after her employer's son, who was just over a year old at that time, when she got into a heated argument with Raymond during a video call on Facebook between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. She then decided to record videos of herself abusing the boy, who cannot be named due to a gag order, in order to show Raymond what she was capable of. When angry court documents said the boy was lying on the bed getting ready for a nap when Diaz placed her mobile phone on the side of the bed with the camera angled at him and started recording. The recording, which was 1 minute 34 seconds long, showed Diaz pressed the baby's face into the mattress, smother him with a pillow, and shake them. She also pulled and lifted the small boy up by his hair and threw him against a pillow. Throughout the ordeal, the baby screamed and cried in pain. Later that day, Diaz was with the babies in the kitchen when she began deciding to record herself abusing the children. This time, Diaz grabbed another baby's arm and used the broadside of a kitchen knife to repeatedly smack him on the buttocks. The video clip was 35 seconds long, in which the babies were screaming and crying. Video clips forwarded to accused husband. Diaz sent the 2 videos to Raymond, who asked his sister to contact Diaz's husband. The video clips were forwarded to Diaz's husband, who then went on to meet Diaz. The couple had an argument during their meeting. Dancy's husband later called the police, stating that he believed his wife was not in a position to look after these poor babies. He said, "My wife, Leslie Ann, is working here as a domestic helper. She's taking care of a kid with her state of mind. She's not in the right capacity to take care of a kid." He added that Diaz told him that she had just been scolded by her employer and she can't take it. "I'm worried for the safety of the kid and also worried of losing my job here because of her," he said. Diaz was arrested at the condominium that night and the child was taken to hospital for a checkup. The boy had a 1 centimeter long abrasion on his foot and 2 small old scabs on his back. District Judge Jasvinder Kaur sentenced Diaz to 9 months jail for 2 charges of ill-treating a child. Diaz could have been jailed for up to 4 years and fined up to $4,000 for each charge. Other shaken footage. 40-second video is time-stamped April 19, 2019, around 8:59 p.m. In it, the FDW can first be seen beating and shoving the child's head toward the table, then doubling back to hit the same child on the back of the head with a broomstick. Leonie Wanbao reports that the FDW is a 27-year-old Burmese woman. In its report, the evening paper claims to have seen footage showing the helper allegedly using household objects such as spoons, a TV remote control, and a pencil case to hit the children. Another CCTV clip reportedly shows her hitting one of the children's faces with a spoon so hard that the latter's nose started bleeding. The FDW then wiped away the blood and continued lashing out at the child. According to Wan Bao, the FDW had also grabbed one of the children by her hair and bashed her head against the table. On at least one other occasion, Huan Mao added that she did not stop her violent behavior even when the children cried. Parents run a night market stall to not spend much time with children. Speaking to the Chinese Daily, the children's mother, a 44-year-old Vietnamese woman, said she initially did not suspect any wrongdoing as she runs a night market stall with her 63-year-old husband. The couple would be out daily from 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. and thus had little time to interact with their children. Additionally, she reportedly said the FDW has been employed by the couple for around 3 months before the incident of alleged violence, and it always displayed a good attitude and performed decently at her tasks. Discovering the alleged abuse, Huan Bao reported that things only started unraveling when the parents spotted a bruise on one of their daughter's forehead 2 weeks ago. When they questioned the helper, she allegedly claimed that it was a result of a child falling off a bicycle. The mother had reportedly only checked the house's CCTV footage to ensure that the FDW had applied ointment to her child's head. That was when she discovered the abuse her children were allegedly going through. Allegedly getting hit every day, the mother reportedly shared that the CCTV footage recorded at home throughout the month of April showed the FDW hitting the children on a daily basis. Sometimes the abuse would last for 10 minutes, but other times it would go on for an hour or more. The parent told Wan Bao the CCTV only had footage from the last 30 days, so who knows what she did to my daughters from January to March. I get angry just thinking about it. A police report has allegedly been filed by the mother, and the maid, who had not been identified, has reportedly been sent back to the agency. Imagine what hearing them on a continuing basis would be like. And in the fact that this is one of your parents being mentally, emotionally, and or physically abused, seeing this happen is devastating for a child. There's fear, of course, but there's also guilt because they're powerless to help. If your child is a girl, she may grow up to have trust issues with men, or worse still, she may end up with abusive men herself, even when she's always said she would never be with anyone who abused her in any way. I am in no way blaming, but often children exposed to domestic violence recreate the dramatic error that was their childhood. The adrenaline that pumps through you when you're listening to or seeing the abuse becomes somewhat addictive. Being in calm environments is foreign to them, so they may gravitate more towards the excitement of an unstable, unhealthy relationship. If your child is a boy, he is more likely to be an abuser. When he becomes old enough to engage in dating and relationships, he may look at women with disdain, seeing them as weak. This is especially true if the abuse eventually spills over onto him. From my own personal experience, the guilt a boy grows up with for not being able to protect his mom is overwhelming. Children can't process what's going on around them, especially if it's been a part of their entire life. I could imagine there might be a numbing to it all, which may lead a child to being rather cold or distant to someone else's. Suffering children are often in the middle of arguments between their parents, leaving them in a horrible situation. If they choose the side of the one being abused, they put themselves at risk of possibly being abused themselves. But they choose the abuser side. You can see how that emotionally devastating would feel, abandoning their abused parent. Children and their abused parent often form a bond through this all. On the outside, this may seem like a wonderful thing, but it can really end up hindering the healing for all involved. It's a good idea to let the nanny know you have the nanny cameras at home. If she's good, she won't mind being watched. She will take it as conscious mothers care for her child. When she's not by her kid's side, a good nanny won't feel uncomfortable being watched because she won't fear of doing anything wrong. On the other hand, if your maid is not aware of the camera, you might become a witness of your kid getting tortured or abused, which can even go as far as your kid's death accidentally or as a result of your maid's unawareness. Another point is accusing someone about something you weren't present there physically will make you feel awkward to speak about. I know you might feel curious to know about the actual behavior of your maid, but it won't make a good impression on the maid after knowing she was actually being watched without her consent. Your main concern is your kid's safety, so concentrate on your baby's safety and inform your maid that you have cameras installed in every corner of your home, and also let her know the reason for doing this is your kid's safety and to watch how your baby's doing and where he is. Your intention is not to be a detective, but to be a protective mother. I hope she'll understand, and it won't be a problem at all if domestic abuse is witnessed by this fragile forming mind. Then that becomes normal to the child, which is itself destructive for both the children and their future partners. Children who grow up in a household with domestic abusers are much more likely to be either an abuser or a victim. This depends on the parent they most emulate. I'm praying for you and your children, and for those beautiful things, healthy relationships, and encourage you during the journey. Referring to the CCTV footage that was widely shared on social media during the past week, he said a deterrent punishment would reflect the seriousness of the crime and send a message to the public that such an act was not acceptable. Have something to add to this story? Please share it in the comment box.